Hello, champions. Watch this video only if you want to hear some raw, unfiltered advice from me that can save some 3 to 4 months of your life. Watch till the very end, do yourself a favor, you will thank me later. See, earlier, right, before the new syllabus, we had only two exams in a year, May and in November. And for example, let's say the examination was in May 23, the results came on July 5th, the next exam would be in November 2nd. So, in case a student did not clear in the May 23 exam, then the student would be writing in November, and the student would have 4 months time between the result date and the exam date. There would be minimum of 4 months time. 4 months time to prepare for the next exam. Okay, but now if you see, when you have 3 exams in a year in the new syllabus, for example, if you look at the May 25 exam, the results were declared on July 6th, but the next exam was held on September 4th. So now if you see, between the result date and the exam date, you are left with only 2 months time. And not only, see, there are two things. Thing number one is that yes, the time that you have between the results and the exam date, the time has reduced. The time gap has become literally half, guys. And the second thing that has happened is that the question paper level has tremendously increased. Now see, I'll tell you what happens, okay? If the result is a favorable result, if the student passes, then great. Life as usual, smooth. The student celebrates and then starts preparing for the next group, fine. But however, if the result is not in our favor, this is where the whole situation goes out of control. I'll tell you now exactly what happens, and I'm very sure many of you watching this video will connect with me. You will agree that this is exactly what happens. If the result is not in our favor, okay, then we try to do as much as possible only in this 2 months time. In these 2 months, we get really burnt out because we are trying to do what we would have otherwise done in 4 months. We are trying to squeeze it into 2 months. We get really burnt out. The student gets really burnt out. The student is neither on this side nor on that side. The student tries to fit in as much as possible in whatever time is available. But in 2 months, guys, how much can you do? Also, the question paper level is increasing. The question papers are really lengthy. And then the student somehow tries to go and, write this exam somehow. But however, preparation was not up to the mark. So therefore, the performance in this exam is also not up to the mark. So after the exam is over, you sit and assess, right? Will I clear? Will I not clear? You sit and assess, right? And I realized that in this exam, okay, the papers which were easy, I think I will pass. But the papers which were not so easy, even little difficult, I'm not sure whether I will pass or not. Aggregate is a big question mark. And so therefore I know that 100% I can't say I will pass. I know there is a 50% chance I may not pass. Everybody around me is telling me, hey, listen, start studying again, start preparing for the same group again. Everybody is telling me. But there's no energy left in me to do anything. Why? Because these 2 months I got burnt out 10 hours a day, 12 hours a day. I got so burnt out. During these exam days, I went all out. Now I can't even sit and study. There's no energy left in me to study anymore. So therefore, what does a student do? One by one day at a time, just passes by. Again, the result day comes. And by chance the student doesn't clear, again only 2 months left to prepare again an exam under prepared. Basically the whole cycle keeps getting repeated, and this is where students are getting caught in this vicious cycle of attempts. Trust me guys when I say this, the vicious cycle of attempts is what we used to see, students getting stuck in the CA final level, and that same vicious cycle we are now seeing at the intermediate level. I'll tell you something, okay, it might hurt some of you, but earlier, when there were only 2 exams in a year, at the intermediate level, we used to see 2 attempts, 3 attempts, 4 attempts, in very rare cases 5 attempts, okay, but not more than that. But now if you see 7 attempts, 8 attempts, 9 attempts at the intermediate level is becoming very common. As soon as I say this, you will immediately ask me, so ma'am, does it mean that the number of attempts at the intermediate level, does it matter? See, whether it matters or not, it is secondary, okay? But don't you think you are ending up spending so many precious months of your life at the intermediate level? I mean, if you're able to get done with inter, then only you will enter into final. Then only you'll get done with final, you will become a chartered accountant, you will start earning. So don't you think every extra month spent at the intermediate level, opportunity cost, guys, what you learn in costing, don't you think every extra month you spend at your intermediate level does have an opportunity cost? Right? So you have to somehow come out of this vicious cycle. So how do you do that? How do you avoid it? How do you get out of it? Before I tell you how do you get out of this vicious cycle, you first understand the whole process of preparation. First understand the whole process. How exactly are you supposed to learn? What is the whole process of studying at the intermediate level? See, the process varies depending upon, are you a first time learner or are you a relearner? The process actually varies, to be very honest. Let's say, what if you're a first time learner? If you're a first time learner, then in that case, first you will spend major time in understanding the concepts, guys. You're learning DT for the first time. You don't even know the provisions. So you will spend a lot of time understanding each provision, understanding each section. Then after that, if it's a theory paper like law, audit or SM and all, you will spend time to learn the subject. That is, you will spend time to by heart the keywords. You will say and see and you will try to learn things up. If it's a practical paper, you will spend time practicing the questions. Then your third step would be, you will have to revisit the concepts, revisit the questions and revise them, and then minimum one test per paper you would write. This is what an ideal process looks like if you're a first time learner. But however, if you are a relearner, then in that case you already know the concepts, guys. So you will not be spending too much time in understanding the concepts, because that little bit knowledge you already have. Maybe you will be spending time to understand the concept in some subjects or in some chapters. Like for example, let's say the last time you had skipped capital gains, so you have to understand the concepts of capital gains from scratch now. So some chapters, some papers only you will be spending time here. But if you're a relearner, your major time will go in, learning by hearting, practicing, revisiting, revising and writing minimum one test. So if you're a relearner, your major time will go in these three steps. Okay, so this is how an ideal process will look like. But listen, if I actually have to do all these steps, if I'm a first time learner, all the 4 steps. If I'm a relearner, 3 steps. If I actually have to do all these steps, guys, this will take time. It will take time, okay? Now you will hear things like, you have 100 days, 10 hours per day, you have 1000 hours, more than sufficient. Then you will hear, when 1 month is over, you will hear, you now have 70 days. Now you give 10 hours per day. You still have 700 hours. You can still do it. Then you will hear, now you have 45 days only. Now at least start spending 12 hours per day. You have 500 plus hours you still have. Now see, I'm not saying students can't do this. You can do this. But however, in this is the process. This is what results in a burnout. And when you get burnt out, you don't enjoy the process. Now you're studying not because you want to study. You study because you have to study. You don't have a choice. And then you're not studying wholeheartedly. Okay. And then the same thing, like what I was telling you earlier, you get stuck in this whole loop. It becomes a vicious cycle of attempts. But I'm so sorry, guys, this is not how you do it. Instead, your very first decision making should be that, do you need classes or not? If you think you have the knowledge, you don't need classes, great. You straight away go to my next step. But if you think you need classes, then always remember, you don't buy classes. Change your whole perspective. You don't buy classes. You always invest in classes. So it's not an expenditure. It's an investment which is going to give you a return in a manner in which you can't even imagine right now. So you first ensure that you make a decision that, do you need classes or do you straight away go to step 2. In your step 2, if you're a first time learner, you do the 4 steps which I just told you about. If you're a relearner, you do the 3 steps. You do them, see, you do all this once. You write your exam once and then you pass and then you go to the next level. This is what an ideal situation should be. Now see, you got to space it out properly basically. See, let's leave whatever has happened, let's leave it in the past. So what do I do now so that I'm somehow able to come out of this vicious cycle of attempts? What do I do now so that I'm somehow able to find my way out of this loop? Listen to me, guys. I'll tell you exactly what I would have done had I been in your place. Listen to me. See, the first thing, let's say in September 25, you've written group 1 for example. You first have to assess what are your chances of clearing. Can you say that, ma'am, I have really high chances of clearing? Can you say, I have, ma'am, 100% chances of clearing? Can you say that? If yes, then you start preparing for the second group. Now you start preparing for the second group when? You start preparing from the September 20th latest. See guys, if you've written only one group, okay, then your first group got over on the 9th of September. You've had a break, guys. You've had enough time. Now you can slowly try to get back into pace. Let's say you wrote the second group. Okay, second group got over. Even for that, it's been almost a week. So now, yes, you can get back into pace. So by 20th September latest, I would have begun. Had I been in your place by 20th September, I would have begun, guys. But I'll tell you something. I'll tell you an unconventional piece of advice, a piece of advice which nobody else would have given to you. But had I been in your place, if I had high chances of clearing my group 1 of September 25, I would have started preparing for second group from 20th September. But my aim would not be Jan 26, guys. It would be May 26. I'll tell you why. See, how much time do I have now? I have, let's say, 10 days in September. I have the whole of October, the whole of November, and the whole of December. So actually, if you see, I have some 3.25 months. Let's say I have 3 months, guys, because some days will go in October for Diwali. There you will need some break days also. Let's say I have 3 months. See, I'm not saying in 3 months you can't prepare a group from scratch and you can't pass. I'm not saying that. You may be able to do it. But then, however, given the kind of question paper level it is nowadays, I would want to do solid preparation from end to end. I would want to do thorough proper preparation. All my 4 steps I would want to do, because I'm preparing for the second group for the first time. I'm a first time learner. No, until now I have never done the second group. See, if you're a relearner, totally different story. If you're preparing for the second group for the very first time, okay, then in that case, had I been in your place, I would not have aimed for Jan 26, guys. I would have done all my 4 steps because I'm a first time learner, and I would have aimed only for May 26. Okay, so if you are somebody who has written group 1 in September 25, you have high chances of clearing, 100% you will clear. Then you should start preparing for the second group from 20th September. But if you're preparing the second group for the first time, okay, for the first time, then in that case your aim should be May 26 and not Jan 26. But however, if you are a relearner, then of course you can aim for Jan 26, because you don't have to do my first step. You only have to do step 2, step 3, and step 4. Then you can do Jan 26. But first time, if you're learning, had I been in your place, I would not have aimed for Jan 26, guys. I would have aimed for May 26 only, because I don't want to get stuck in the whole loop of attempts, right? I want to learn once, I want to write exam once, and I want to pass. This is what I would have done. You understood, right? If you're a relearner, then of course you can try Jan 26. But if you're a first time learner, then May 26 only. Okay, now this whole thing was, what if you say that my chances of clearing are very high. But however, if you say that, ma'am, I have 50-50 chance, I may clear, I may not clear, I'm not sure. If you say that, ma'am, I have low chances of clearing, I'm not sure. I can't say, I can't assess, I'm not sure. If you say that, okay, then had I been in your place, okay, then yes, from 20th September, I would have started preparing again, but I would have started preparing for the same group again, guys. I had written group 1, right? And I'm not too sure of clearing it, right? I would have restarted my preparation for that same group again. I'll tell you why. With logic, I'll tell you, it would be my safest option, because two outcomes are possible now. Either I will pass when the results come, or I will not pass. If I pass, great. Then I'm done with group 1. Now I will start preparing for the second group. Let's say results will come somewhere between October 25th to October 28th, 29th. It will come, let's say. So let's say by November 1st, I'll start preparing for the second group. Same thing. If I'm preparing for the first time, then my objective will be May 26 only. But if I already have done the second group, if I only have to brush up, then Jan 26 is what my aim would be. I will be able to do it easily. But however, by chance I don't pass, okay, can you imagine, I'm in such a safe position, I'm in such a safe state, because I had already started preparing for the same group, right? On 20th September itself, I had started preparing, and it's not even like I'm preparing for the first time. That same group, guys, I had written in September 25, but I think I'm not too sure of clearing, and that is why that same group only I was relearning from 20th September. So, and let's say I started with advanced accounts and GST. So by the time the results come, I'm done with these two. I'm done with 1.5 papers. Now what am I left with? I'm left with only law and DT. So now I will continue to prepare for the same group. Let's say for DT, I want to do the DT workout batch. Okay, fine, I'll do it. I still have time. I'll continue to prepare for the same group. I only have to majorly spend time on these two papers. Jan 26, I will comfortably be able to write group 1, because thanks to this advice, I had started long back on 20th September itself. I'm in the whole flow of studying. So Jan 26, I will be able to finish off this particular group. And then same advice which I'm giving you now, same thing. After Jan 26 exam is over, this time I will say I'm 100% sure of clearing group 1. So therefore, let's say by 20th Jan, or let's say by 1st Feb, I start preparing for group 2. But group 2, I will not write in May 26. I will write in September 26 if I'm a first time learner. And by September 26, I am done with my CA Inter journey. Are you understanding, guys? I hope this whole thing made sense to you. This whole chart made sense to you. Yes, so if you are in this bucket, no tension. The whole tension is only if you think I have 50% chance of clearing. Then in that case, you should be, the conclusion of this whole story is, if you think you have 50% chance of clearing only, then in that case you should be preparing for the same group again. Because if you clear, then in that case you can start preparing for the second group, and second group you will anyways aim for May 26 only if you're a first time learner. But if you're a relearner, then of course you can try for Jan 26 as well. But however, in case you don't clear, then you're in such a safe position, because by the time the results come, you had started preparing from 20th September only. So by the time the results come, you're already done with advanced accounts and GST. Now you're left with only law and DT. You can take up the DT workout batch now. Law you can do self, or if you want class, you can take a class and then write your Jan 26 exam comfortably and clear. And the reason why you are this comfortable for Jan 26 is because by the time the results came, you were already done with these two. I'm very sure this whole thing would have made sense to you guys. This is how you exit from this vicious cycle of attempts. So, yes, it might take you a little extra energy, okay, to redo the same books again if you come in this bucket. Yes, you may not like it initially that you have to do the same books again. Yes, it may hurt, but set that aside. Be that same strong person that you are. Gather your courage and do this favor on yourself, guys. You will thank yourself when the results come, because when on the day of the result, whether the result is passed, whether the result is not passed, okay, whatever be the result, you are in a safe position. Understanding, on that day you will not feel lost. On that day you will not feel, okay, from where do I start? You will not feel like that. You will be well equipped to take up the Jan 26 exam. All right, so I hope this made sense to you guys. I hope you play smart now. I hope you make a wise decision that your future self will thank you for. Okay, thank you guys. Bye bye.